I'm Catherine McLean, founder and CEO of Jill & Green, and today I have with me two amazing ladies that I'm really excited have joined me. Adela Wilson, who's the program manager for Hiring Our Heroes, and LaTisha Wayne Phillips, who's the manager of policy and corporate affairs at Onyx Renewables. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And I think that both of you are in DC, right?
Yep.
Yes, we are.
Yes. So DC ladies representing today. I first became aware of Hiring Our Heroes through Jim Percal. He's a Marine veteran who had taken part in the program through Sun Power. And so he was the one that told me about it. And then, of course, people like Noel Page, who are huge advocates of the program. So I'm super excited to have you tell us more about it. So Adela, do you want to start a bit with your background?
Sure, absolutely. Like you mentioned, I'm Adela Wilson. I'm the National Capital Region Program Manager for the Corporate Fellowship for Hiring Our Heroes. I am a military spouse. I relaunched my career after following my husband around in 2019. So really passionate and excited to be leading this DoD Skill Bridge program for Hiring Our Heroes. I'm thrilled to be here today and talk about our programs and how we facilitate that connection between military talent with our solar companies and other industries in our program. So thank you for having me.
LaTisha, tell us a bit about yourself.
So, as you know, I'm a former Hiring Our Hero Fellow and Our Heroes Fellow, excuse me. I did about 25 years in the military. I served in the Army for 25 years. I was a military intelligence officer. I'm also a military spouse. So I have a husband who's currently serving on active duty. And when he's ready, I'm going to pass him along to Adela to join the fellowship as well. Yeah, so I'm, a former Army officer and now just really enjoying the second chapter of my life.
Yeah.
After the Army.
Adela, can you provide an overview of Solar Ready Vets? I believe it's a program led by Interstate Renewable Energy Council that Hiring Our Heroes is involved with.
Absolutely. So the Solar Ready Vets Network is a collective of initiatives that is funded by the Department of Energy. And like you mentioned, Catherine, led by the Interstate Renewable Energies Council. So they connect service members to solar training and career pathways. And they do that by a variety of ways and partnerships with leading industry and training partners and veteran service organizations, which is where Hiring Our Heroes comes in. We've been a key partner of theirs since 2019. And so for those of you that are not familiar, Hiring Our Heroes is a nonprofit. We're part of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation, which is the nonprofit arm of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And we help transitioning service members, military and military spouses to launch meaningful careers. So since that 2019, we've assisted 87 service members like LaTisha to launch leadership careers within the solar companies, ranging from small startups to national employers.
LaTisha, how did you get involved with Hiring Our Heroes and then subsequently Onyx?
So during my preparation for retirement, each Army soldier is required to attend a Soldier for Life Transition Assistance Program, which we call SFL TAP. During that time, they provide us with information on different programs that are available for us, different benefits that we can take advantage of. And so Hiring Our Heroes was part of a plethora of skill bridge opportunities that retiring or even just ETSing service members could take advantage of. And so by word of mouth, I had already heard about Hiring Our Heroes from former friends who had retired previous to me. And so when it was my time, I decided that I would go ahead and apply for the fellowship. And that's the way that I got involved with Hiring Our Heroes.
I'm curious, what made you decide clean energy? Like, what was it within your 25 years within the Army? Was it something that had always been of interest? Was there a point that it became of interest? Did something happen that made you interested in it?
So honestly, I can say that I probably didn't think much about renewable energy until COVID.
Okay.
And for me, it's more personal. It wasn't that I thought about, oh, I want to do a career in renewables, but it was more personal for me is because during that time where we were quarantined and everyone was, stuck in their homes and we weren't going to work, we weren't commuting, we weren't doing all those things, I really, and I know this may sound kind of crazy, but I got outside more and just
Yeah.
got I walked more and I looked at the sky more, and it to me, my surroundings looked totally different to me. As
Hmm.
far as it just felt cleaner, the air felt, less polluted. And I said, you know what? It I'm interested in ways that how do we sustain the earth? What can we do better?
Hmm.
And so initially when I was contacted by Onyx and another renewable energy company. At first I was a little hesitant
Hmm.
because it was just the hesitation came from not being feeling that I had the skills, right? I didn't know a lot about renewable energy. I just
I'm
knew.
laughing because I remember speaking to you and I was like, I'm sorry, you were in the Army for 25 years and what was your job? Oh, weapons of mass destruction. And you're
Yes.
feeling insecure about permitting in real estate negotiation. I was like, I think you're good. You remember? I was like,
Yes, I
I
do.
think you're going to
I
be all right.
do because at that time I was working for the Defense Threat Reduction Agency.
I was like, you're
Yes.
going to be fine. Yeah.
Right. So I was kind of like, I don't know about this. And I believe that what stood out probably to maybe some of the companies in the renewable energy space may have been my master's degree in urban planning and
Yeah.
policy. And so I think that might have been why maybe my resume was
Right.
given a second look.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with your charming personality.
No, not at all.
I did want to mention because LaTisha mentioned her her degree that made
Yep.
her. So I want to also let folks know that there are training opportunities that are provided part of the Vets Ready. There's training on the job experience. So even if they don't have those types of degrees or a background that they think that aligns, they can get those hands-on experiences and basically learn how to translate those skills into the opportunities in the solar industry and other sectors.
So tell me about the type of work you handled during your fellowship at Onyx and then like what you're working on now.
Okay, so during the fellowship, I had the opportunity to work in their project development department. I actually worked for Noel Page.
Yes.
And during that time, I had the privilege to kind of get an overview of all functions of the actual company from each of the different functional areas. But specifically for Noel, I was doing audits on Salesforce. I was looking at current projects, previous projects. I was
Mhm.
kind of doing audits on those projects to make sure that if there was data that needed to be collected or data, anything that may be missing that could slow down a project,
Yeah.
that I was kind of the one doing the QA QC to double check to make sure everything was in line. In
Right.
addition to that, I also assisted a consultant firm with helping Onyx to look at their internal processes concerning their project development, all the different phases of a project from start to finish. And I was able to, with the consulting firm, identify areas of where we could delineate responsibility between the different functional areas, which would help to make the process smoother. And in addition to that, kind of help to maybe like identify redundancy or
Right.
and make sure that it just helped the process to move smoother, faster, with everyone understanding what their responsibilities were. And
Right.
so that's what I focused on the most while I was there. So some of the other things that I currently do for Onyx is I am the lead for all their ESG efforts.
Mhm.
I'm also supporting many of their DEI efforts. And so I'm working DEI efforts for the company. I'm currently working on the bronze certification for DEI for the
Okay.
company. And in general, just continuing to work, as I mentioned before, the legislative affairs type efforts.
Yeah. I definitely know that Onyx has a lot of senior women within the firm
Yes, we
compared
do. We
compared
do.
to other developers. So, I think that that's also worth sort of giving a little clap and praise to because, you can talk about it all you like, but and, I was on the phone this morning with somebody and I was like, oh yeah, she said, how is diverse is the team? I said, well, they're working on it, so they've hired me. She said, you know what? You don't even need to answer the question. I've just pulled up the Meet the Team page. It's not going to be for me. It's not for me. And so, that's the thing. We could talk about it until we're blue in the face. You just pull up the Meet the Team page and you look at the executive leadership. I'm not talking about, other people within the firm down the line. I'm talking about the executive leadership. And that the truth is in that. Truth is in those photos.
That's true. Because I know that a lot of people, when they're looking for employment, and they'll go to those web pages and they'll see, what does the company look like?
Yeah.
And do I feel like I can fit in?
Yeah.
And so that just becomes very important.
Yeah. And did you find that your skills in the military helped you once you got into this position?
I do. That was one of the other things that I was concerned with, like, well, what can I, how will my skills translate? And so what I've realized is that a lot of the skills that we pick up in the Army that we may not think are important do translate well over into the civilian sector. And so analytical skills, critical thinking, leading, being able to manage, to being able to track multiple projects at the same time. For me, one of the other things that I'm doing currently for Onyx is I work the legislative and regulatory affairs. So I had some experience from the military when I was a legislative liaison. And so I'm able to use those skills that I learned in the military to help me maneuver around the hill, to make sure, like, I'm tracking hearings, and I'm up to date on what legislation's coming out. The bigger thing now, though, is not just federal level. I'm also looking at the state and local level. And so I think those skills were very helpful in my transition over.
Adela, other than Onyx, what are some of the clean energy companies that Hiring Our Heroes has worked with to help provide fellowships as well as full-time jobs to veterans?
Absolutely. We've worked with 23 companies. So we've worked with Onyx, DNV Renewables, Green Power Monitor, FTC Solar, Sun Power, just to name a few.
Yeah. And how can veterans as well as clean energy employers get involved with Hiring Our Heroes?
Solar Vets Ready program is growing, and employers or candidates that are interested can explore those pathways and pipeline to talent on the solarreadyveterans.org website to see all their resources and initiatives.
Other question I have, just out of curiosity, is do you just focus on solar? Like, could wind companies get involved, for example?
So we don't just focus on solar. We work with a variety of different industry sectors. So definitely from pharmaceutical research to defense contracting, the Solar Vets Ready is part of the solar and wind industry, but also Hiring Our Heroes as a whole works with many different industries and sectors.
Great. Well, I really appreciate you all taking the time to speak with me, and hopefully there'll be like loads of companies that once they see this will want to get involved now that they know more about it.
I hope so. I hope so. There are a lot of veterans out there that will definitely be value added to any company that gets them.